Omnisphere's stack mode is a great way of creating splits and layers and crossfades between different sounds. And again, we can mix keyscape sounds with each other and or with Omnisphere sounds. Now I've got a keyscape sound loaded in here in part 1. Part 2 is another keyscape sound. Part 3 is yet another one. And part 4 is a nice pad sound from Omnisphere. So I'm going to switch to the multi-mode, and you'll see in the mixer that they're all assigned to their regular MIDI channels. And I have the volume down a bit here, but other than that, nothing much has changed. A bit of reverb on this one, that's it. So I'm going to go to stack mode, and we'll start by turning it on. Now we can work with either note-based splits, layers, and crossfades, or velocity-based, or MIDI CC-based. Now let's start with note-based. The way it works is we're seeing the 4 parts here, and this is the range of the keyboard. So I can have the different sounds respond to different ranges. Right now, we're going to hear all sounds at once if I hit a note. You can track my incoming notes and velocities here in this window. So we're hearing everything. It's a bit busy and cluttered. We can adjust the ranges by dragging the right or left handles. So for example, maybe I want this custom chorus. Maybe I want that under the whole thing, actually. And then I want this phaser patch to only come in at the higher end of the note range, maybe around here. And maybe I don't want it to just start right at that note, but I want to fade it in. I'm going to drag the upper corner and we can create a fade so it'll fade in over that range. So in the higher part of the register, I'll hear this. Now this one, maybe I want even higher up, and I'll fade that one in as well. And this one, maybe I want to cross the whole range, but I want it fading up so that I'm hearing it less on the lower velocities and more on the higher ones. So I'll have a nice long fade like that. So now I can play a part. We'll hear this through the entire note range, this starting over here, fading up, and this one starting over here, fading up, and this one right at the lower registers, but much quieter. So it's a nice way of getting a multi-textured part. Now, similarly, we can work with velocity splits between these sounds rather than note splits. So right now, this is based on note range. Now, I'm going to switch here. And when I play notes, the velocities are going to be triggered here on a scale of 0 to 127 all the way to the top. And these represent at what velocities these will be triggered at. So in the entire velocity range, this one will sound. This is only going to sound now when I hit harder at velocity 49 and above. And this one will trigger at about 58 and above. And this one will fade in all the way from the bottom. So again, we're going to hear all of these sounds in the entire range of notes, but it depends how hard we hit. And again, you can track my velocities and notes over here. And in fact, for this, maybe I'll trigger these only in the higher velocities, like that. And let's listen to that. So when I hit harder, we're really hearing that hammerchord charmer sound come out clearly. And in the mixer, I have that one down a bit. Let me just bring it up. We'll hear it more. So it's a nice way of getting multi-textured sounds based on velocities. And we can do similarly with CCs, like I showed you in the last video in live mode, where I can have CC messages switch between the parts. So that's a couple of ideas of how to integrate stack mode with your keyscape sounds. See you for more in the next video.